Hey ho, let's go. Hope everyone's having a day filled with awesomeness as much as you can have when it's 98 degrees out. Welcome to Pugsley's Pit for those who regularly follow the show. And hello to our newest viewers who might be joining us for the very, very first time. Welcome again, this episode 102. That's a lot of tolerance by our great visitors. 102 of Pugsley's Pit, no unwritten rules. We're back after a week away. Pollen count, allergies. It took my voice away. The happiest were the 8 kids I had to chaperone on a dairy farm field trip one day, and I had no voice. It was like swallow the whistle, let them play, and as long as the tour guide didn't say anything, I couldn't. So they had a good time. With a combined 70 years of fantasy baseball experience, I am Sean Pugsley Martin. This is Mike Nelson, and that number is going up when we introduce our guest. We are here again to talk about some Major League Baseball with a fantasy baseball spin. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter, Pugsley Spit, taking the podcast on YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe icon on YouTube for future episodes. How's the heat in Philly?
It's hotter than the brass door knocker of hell down here. So it's a little toasty, a little toasty, little toasty. My energy bill will be gloriously reflective of that, but it's all good. Glad everybody's here. We're back after a week off. I'm sure everybody was thrilled that you couldn't speak.
Nobody was complaining here.
My Father's Day present to myself was not having to hear your voice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a win.
I'm watching the Yankees and the Orioles as the rash of injuries to star players continues, and we'll talk about a little bit of that later. And Judge takes one right off the hand.
That's too bad.
And the entire stadium was dead silent.
That's too bad.
He stayed in the game. We'll see what happens when he has an at-bat, but it was like right on the pinky knuckle, right about the same place that Betts got hit. And it's like, what is like...
I don't like him when
stars. I said a million times. I never root for guys to get hurt.
No, ever. I don't.
When guys on the Dodgers and Red Sox get hurt, though, I don't like the fact that they're personally hurt. It softens the blow for me. But baseball can't afford for its best players to be injured.
It can't. But what softens the blow for me is that the guy who looked like he was going to run away with our league has Tucker on the DL. I know he's coming off. Betts is hurt. Judge, that's fine. Speaking of that, on today's show, for those in Keeper Dynasty Leagues, when is it time to throw in the towel and begin to focus on 2025? But before that, making his Pugsley's Pit debut. And this will be a first for our league. The defending champion. I was going to call him Newberg Bob, but we'll go with Battlefield Bob. The defending champ, Bob, get it out of the way. 35 years. The plaque has never been on this show, mostly because I haven't had it in 10 years. There it is.
This thing hasn't left the Hudson Valley in a couple of years, thanks to Steve and Brian. I think this year might be Gasper, but,
No.
This thing only takes a ride to Albany, and then it comes back.
Not this time. Take good care of my trophy.
Hey, guys, good to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
So for our loyal listener, an interest of Bob's many accomplishments in life, not the least of which is being a husband and a father, and our former roommate. Bob was also the torchbearer for an Olympic event that was held in Plattsburgh, a one-day Olympic event. Bob, any of us barely remember that. But Bob carried the torch into the arena for our Olympic event. So that was a momentous occasion.
What I remember most about it is it was a Sunday, and we were doing a lot of really inappropriate things on.
It was a Sunday, and it was coming. And it was like a week before. It was a week before finals. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, don't let fun get in the way.
Yeah.
No, but we made it. We've made it 35 years in this league. Like, this is great.
There's a reason why it took 6 years for the undergrad work. I mean, seriously, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the beer was good that day.
Yeah, but we're so much better with people as a result because of our social skills.
Yes.
That's
why I'm in sales.
Exactly.
You touch people every day. I don't mean it that way, but
all right.
got that
we
out
getting
of
off the rails early. So anywho, so look, for teams in contention, dynasty or keeper leagues, it's a great time to swoop in and get some good trade candidates because you got a few guys that are dumping. It's happened in our league early because Boogers was making a mockery of things. He's starting to come back a little bit. So you had a couple teams bail. The three of us, by the way, for context, folks, are in a gaggle of 5 teams that are like just a couple points apart. We're trying to get to the top 3. So
how many points did we have going into today? I feel like it was a magic number.
60. The three of us were within a half a point of each other. But I said this to Unstoppable even like 2 weeks ago. Hey, listen, Rich Boogers, I love him. But I looked at his team even before these big injuries, and I'm like, yeah, he's been hot for 2 months. Yeah. But what if Sean gets hot for 2 months, or Mike, or me, or Cooperstown, or anybody? The pigs are just crushing it. The one thing I was thinking about this show was, do you want to make a move? You know what you want? You want to wake up every morning and not see your player on the news that, like Mike said, got hit in the hand in exactly 8 weeks. Because how do you replace people like that? And there's been so many of them this year.
Is it bad for me to say that I wish John Gray got hit with a liner in the first inning last night? Now, minor bruise, but for precaution.
He gave up enough liners. He should have got hit by one of them. They were flying around like crazy.
I got to flip on the Celtic game. By the way, congratulations from everyone here at Pugsley Spit to the Boston.
No, not from everyone here at Pugsley Spit.
The wonderful city of Boston.
I love one of my favorites.
Everyone here at Pugsley Spit. No.
So patriotic there. Everything. You got everything there.
You know what? Fuck them.
So here's the philosophy I have. You make a decision. Can I get back into the race or not? I'm not afraid to trade draft picks. I've done it. I'll do it again. I'll probably do it by the end of the week if I have to. But it's a hard sell. And I think what happened, at least in this league this year, was you had a guy that was running away, a 15, 17-point lead. If you're going to move, you got to move now. And I'll tell you, I sold my soul. And it's great that you guys are on the show the first time after this trade. 30-plus years ago, the three of us co-owned a fantasy football team, and these two knotheads called me and said, hey, we're going to trade for John Elway. I'm like, please don't do that. I hate that. They did it. And his first game, Bobby called me and said, are you excited for today? I said, I hope he breaks his leg in the first play today, because you guys just took the whole enjoyment out of this for me. I don't like guys. I don't like having guys I don't like. And I traded for Jose Altuve the other day.
I know.
And that is just – that's like Patrick Waugh being the goalie on my fantasy hockey team, or even having a Montreal Canadian on my roster. It just doesn't happen. But he can help me win.
Yeah. Why? I don't think anyone should ever let that get in the way. I hate the Braves, but if I had Olsen on my team or Albies or anybody, I wouldn't be like I got to get rid of him. I know people do that in our league, but same as like you got to have a bench mate that is playing well. That's good.
Yeah, it's good problems when you have guys on your bench and you wish you would have had them in the lineup. But
Justin Steele out pitching Logan Webb right now on my team, for example.
Last time we were together, we talked about Memorial Day kind of being the magic time, right, Bob? Like you kind of know what your team is.
Yeah,
you know what you need. You see where you are in the standings, especially in Roto. You can tell. Category by category, where you need something, where you want something. And you can also look at the gap and the people that are at the top of the standings that are in it. But I did some research again. I'm sure the big man in Massachusetts will appreciate this information.
Oh, he's a numbers nerd.
Most of the big trades in our league happen in late July to mid-August. Because then that's when teams are going all in. And we can trade draft picks in our league for context. Not every league does that. And a lot of dynasty leagues do. So teams that are dead out of it are trying to build a keeper pool. And they'll trade anything or anybody because they know that they have no shot. But to do it early, like big trades rarely happen. Like tinker trades usually happen like from Memorial Day-ish until the middle of June, and then everybody takes a deep breath until the All-Star break, and then you're like, I pretty much know that I have either that I got a shot to go for this or I don't. So I went back to 2010. And I'll give you 4 trades from 2010 to 2021. So in 2010, I acquired David Aardsma and Raf Furcal for Brett Gardner, Miggy Tejada, and Billy Wagner. Right?
Wait, was good Miguel Tejada or bad?
Really good Miguel Tejada.
Okay.
Billy Wagner. No,
and really and not as good as David Aardsma, Billy Wagner. I ended up finishing 5th. The team I traded with finished 7th.
Okay.
2013, Garrett Cole, Pirates Garrett Cole, and Mark Burley from Skyhawk Baseball to you, Sean, for King Felix, Julio Teheran, and Matt Holliday. You finished 4th. You finished 4th. He finished 12th.
What was? I thought we met Bobby. Look at the trophy. 2012 was my last victory.
Mike, were these done early? These trades were done in early June.
So the first one was May 26th. This one was June 13th.
Okay, early. Yeah, 2012.
2015.
Okay.
2015. Sean and I made a trade on May 20th. Lorenzo Cain, Annabelle Sanchez, and Buster Posey to me. John Lester, Wilson Ramos, and Florida Christian Yelich. If you remember, that's when Gammons was like, this guy's going to win a batting title. Christian Yelich. I ended up winning a league that year, and Sean finished 3rd.
That was 15?
That was 15. And then in 21, the big man in Massachusetts traded to Scotty, George Springer, Walker Buehler, Bobby Dalbec, and Yoan Moncada for Mookie Betts. Like an all-in trade, right?
Yeah.
It's like the real Red Sox trade.
The big man finished 4th, and Scotty finished 6th. It was like a real Red Sox trade.
Oh, they finished last or
going. So I guess the point is that these early trades, and it's a small sample size over a long period of time, over a 14-year period of time. These early trades don't generally have the impact that they're intended to have at the time they're made, just based on the small sample size.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, like, Bob, your trade set off a whirlwind of a bunch of other trades.
Yeah, crazy.
Like your trade was like, holy shit, Bob, that was a giant trade. And then all of a sudden, the rest of the league is like, there's movement everywhere.
Right. And one comment real quick. I looked at, Todd did it last year. I think it was in May, and he needed a closer, and he went out and got Class A. And he did it in May, June. Like, why wait till end of July? And I did the same thing. I need strikeouts. I need wins. I need pitching. Yeah, Lopez can be shaky, Pablo, but basically the trade was for Luis Castillo, and my pitching staff is now
for a number 1 pick, right? Just for context for people.
Yeah, but I'm like, what am I waiting for? I'm hemorrhaging in WHIP and ERA. You got to make the move now. It's a horse race, You got to go. We manage categories, like as you know.
In categories that compile result. Not like whipping ERA and batting average, where it's over the long haul. It is what it is. Like, if you need strikeouts, you got to go get them. If you need steals, you got to go get them. If you need RBIs, you got to go get them. I'm last in steals, and I can't find a way to get out of that.
Well, it's funny. You guys were talking Simeon a couple weeks ago, and then you made a trade.
Right.
So
yes,
you want Ellie?
To me,
it's like draft day. I want all my picks back.
Sadly, I've had to do it a couple times lately. But to me, if I'm out, I dump. If I make that decision, usually I try and get to the All-Star breaks. Am I a buyer or seller?
Yeah.
But last year I was better. I had a lot of injuries early. I got back. I finished 5th. The 3 years before that were an absolute disaster to the greatest organization in the history of fantasy baseball. I think I finished 11th twice and 12th. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, that's.
But what I learned was, okay, you had a bad day, you were overserved at the draft, whatever, which happens every year. That I'm going to go first. It's better to be first to wave the white flag and start to plan, because you can pounce quickly before other people do it.
You did that in the offseason with some trades we made. One other quick note, and Mike, I had him for years. He helped put my name on that trophy, Garrett Cole. There's a lot of great players that are coming back soon, which makes teams feel like, well, do I need to make a move, or I got some reserves coming? I have a few. I'm sure besides me, you, Mike, and other people, there's good big names coming back.
I have Scherzer
in
back.
In the next 7 days, I'm going to get back Cole, Darvish, and Snell.
And how's Lewis doing for you since he got back?
Unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you talked to him big time in the preseason, and I agreed with you. I wasn't sure who the guy was, but more you talked about him, and then what he did before he got hurt and what he's doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the injury thing is a problem, right? Because it really derails your patience.
Yeah.
Because you never know anymore. Like they're so, like the injury report is such, cluttered and such bullshit anymore that, yeah, he's going to be out he's going on a 10-day IL. He shouldn't need a rehab assignment. He should be okay. He should be back as soon as he's eligible. And then 3 weeks later, they come rolling back.
Yeah.
The team might be playing well, or the team might be playing crappy. There's no point to rush this guy back if we don't need him. I'm very surprised that Cole's starting tomorrow. Honestly, I thought they'd give him another start in AAA, but I guess when you literally just make a mockery of minor league baseball, there's no point. Like if he's only going to go to 80 pitches, he might as well do them in the bigs.
Yeah, but it is the Orioles. That could go south so quick. They scare me every time I get a pitcher going against the Orioles.
Yeah. Well, by the way, just in case you're wondering, the graphics department has taken a break from trolling Mike on Twitter and actually gotten to work. So we now have graphics.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Thanks. My agent's on the clock right now.
What's the impetus for getting Cole? You think he should have one more start? Why would they bring him back? They're cruising.
Well, what was the hurry?
Yeah.
Frankly, I mean, Poteet went on the IL today, but I think that's a fake injury move. I honestly do. They didn't really, the way the starting rotation's going, they didn't really need him. It's as much of a shock to me that they're bringing him back as that Scott's still in the minors with the Mets. I'm very surprised that I knew that they had that London series. They moved him down. They wanted him to get some work. He wasn't going to pitch there. They had all that time off, and I thought they would call him up, and he's still down there. Like that kind of surprised me. So like it's that yo-yo of players that you're never really sure about, and. Hey, he's coming back on Wednesday, and what if he doesn't start tomorrow? He's in my lineup this week. Like I'm going off the information.
Yeah,
we go off the information that we have on up until first pitch on Monday in our league. In some leagues, that decision's got to be made by midnight Sunday.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, you never know. The injury thing, that's a whole nother thing. The only issue I had was Jose Ramirez, and I knew he missed Saturday, then he missed Sunday, and I got scared. Paternity leave. Okay, fine. Take a couple days.
Can these guys do this like on their own time, please? Like count 9 months.
I know.
You should not miss any baseball because of that.
Yeah. Start at the All-Star.
Happy for babies, but come on.
Yeah, start at the All-Star break. So you got so it's like if it's going to cut into spring training.
We'll be alive someday, and Jose Ramirez Jr. will be crushing it.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody will know who he is because he'll also be playing in Cleveland. Jose Ramirez is so good that he can do everything he's doing on the field and have a baby. That's how good he is.
Yes, that is how good he is. So, hey, look, I wanted to give, since one of our co-hosts on this show had a little vitriol toward the New York Metropolitan Baseball Club this year. Battlefield Bob is aptly named because he is a Met fan. I watched the '86 World Series with him. He's a Met fan.
Oh yeah,
we went to more than a number of games. He and I were there when Darryl Strawberry hit the top of the roof in Montreal on opening day '88.
Never forget that. I talked to Strawberry at Cooperstown one day about that, and he was looking at me, but I'm like, I was there, Darryl. You hit the roof, and he's like, oh yeah. I mean, that was an amazing. Yeah, thank you, Sean.
By the way, put a baseball team back in Montreal.
Was that Will Chamberlain's 100-point game?
For For those out there, if you've never been to a baseball game in Montreal, especially with the nice ice cold Labatt's, they should put a ball team back up there.
When we could go to a game when we were in school for 75 cents American to sit in the bleachers.
Yeah. And drink blue, Labatt Blue.
And drink blue. And then end up literally sitting wherever the hell we wanted to. Because there was like
we moved around.
People there. They didn't
I looked for my Expo hat tonight. I couldn't find it. No big deal. I got it years ago, Father's Day, from the kids. When I have a soft spot for Montreal. Like G and I went to one of our games there first time we met. So one of my favorite things in Montreal was Mike Nelson doing both languages when Mitch Webster was batting.
Now batting the center fielder, Mitch Webster.
And then they would do the American, ladies and gentlemen. Now batting,
ladies and gentlemen.
Mitch Webster.
Don't take me to hockey games. Don't take me to hockey games up there.
But there's so many games in Montreal, all the way back to Jerry Park. I mean, growing up.
Well, you told us about Jerry Park. I've had other people tell me about that. What a interesting, crazy, excellent, cool place to watch.
Yeah, I'd be like going to Bob. It'd be like going to the Valley Cats.
Yeah, honestly. There was a pool, right? Big pool there.
Yeah, big pool in right field. It was a town park. I mean, bring back the Expos. They're the best. They're on Twitter. They are the best major league follow on Twitter because they are crazy socially active.
Do you guys think they'll come back?
No.
I
don't think so.
It's gonna go somewhere warm. One of those.
No.
Whatever.
No, they don't subscribe to blocking the base on steals by shortstops and second basemen, so they're not going to come back.
Hey, one of that, Bob. I want to ask you something. You're one of the reasons why you're usually in the loop in the challenge for our baseball league. You do a great job of keeping your core players. I do not do that. But last year you modified a little bit down the stretch. It was like, oh my goodness, he changed his strategy. How painful was that for you? Because you hold on to those guys like
it's interesting. I'm like super conservative and stuff, and that's interesting because we've been doing this 30-something years, but I did it because I wanted this,
Yeah.
And it's true. Like I was always the guy like my team will figure it out, and I don't need to trade assets and drafts picks. And last year I just went, if I'm going to go, I just went balls in. Remember, I even traded for the Baltimore closer. I lost him, and I'm like, I'll just go get another one, another round pick. Yeah, it sucked at the draft, except for eating Gasper's food. But I was just sitting there for a long time,
But you had the trophy in your hand.
Yeah, no, and I don't always do that. I may never do it again. But that's an interesting point. Like, you don't know sometimes, but that's why I looked at all of us still bunched up, not far from the Pigs in Cooperstown. And then Rich obviously having a great run, but
it's early though.
Any of us, I swear to God, that we get the right moves. You get all of a sudden, like Mike's getting some arms back. He might trade one of those and get something he needs, and he's moving up in steals. It's fun. It's so fun.
We're still at a point in the season. And again, it's the roto we're talking about. That like in a week, you can all of a sudden you pick up 8 points in a week.
Yeah,
it's still early enough that you can have a huge week and either all the way around or a huge offensive week or a huge pitching week and make up a ton of ground in categories.
Yeah.
And even in head-to-head, and I'm surprised in our head-to-head league that there hasn't been any trades yet as teams are starting to look like they're going to – there's some teams that look like they have a pretty good chance to just run away and hide in this league. And then there's those of us that are scuffling a little bit at the moment, like in a little slide. And like I'm already starting to look at trades. Like there's guys that maybe I start to move in that league because there's a ton head to head. There's even more time.
Yeah.
Because by the way, I went off 6 weeks in a row, and you're right back at you're in it.
I did want to thank you because I was a major underdog to Vitale going into the last day, and apparently the difference was the Red Sox strafing Marcus Stroman gave him negative points and allowed me to eke out a 1-point win. So thank you, Mike, and to your New York Yankees.
You're having fun, aren't you?
Oh, I haven't even started.
You're having fun. You're having fun.
I haven't even started. Oh, we got the puppy there.
It is hot, Bob. It is feeling like the dog days of summer.
It's coming. No, it's here, guys. But this is when it really gets interesting in fantasy. Totally like.
Hey, is Kevin still there? I got a question.
He's right here.
Hey, man. I'm assuming that's water in your cup. Here's my question.
It is.
how meaningful is it for you to have your father holding that trophy? Is that a big thing in the household?
We have pride in the household this year. You know what I mean? Win was win.
It just came off the fireplace, the mantle.
Or did you show it already? That's hilarious.
took the
That's the only reason they wanted me on the show was to see the
spent $600 on a family portrait, took it down, and put the league plaque up in front of it.
The great grandparents photo when they were on the Titanic. They took that down.
Cooperstown does that.
It came over on the Mayflower. It's the second
Cooperstown
thing
hangs that thing proudly as well. See his wife, when's that thing coming off my wall? I'm like, I'm doing the best I can.
I couldn't believe. I mean, listen, it is so hard. I couldn't believe how long it was that before I'd won it again. Like, boy, like there's just too much competition in this league.
Yeah.
Nobody sleeps in this league. Nobody sleeps.
Nope.
And the important thing is we have a group of owners that are committed to staying in the league.
Yeah.
So we've had one ownership change since Kenny left, right? That was the last one.
No, two. We had two. But
it's been 10 years.
Yeah, Bert was farther. No, that's a great point, Mike. Like think of the past 5-6 years.
Close to 10 years, yeah.
No turnover. Yeah, I mean, quick question. You guys do the head-to-head. So you guys basically, whatever, you have 10 teams. 6 or somebody make the playoffs? Like,
yeah.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But you do playoffs like fantasy football.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. What do you guys prefer? I mean, I'm just used to doing this.
It's interesting to do them both. For me, Bob, honestly, it's interesting. So I'm in 3. So I'm in our league. That'll never change. I'm in the Ball 9.
Yeah.
Head-to-head league with Sean. And then I'm in another league that's National League only head-to-head.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that National League only head-to-head has other, like, uses holds, uses OPS.
Yeah.
And
rosters then.
Gosh. Like, somebody gets hurt. So that team, I have Acuna and Betts. Yeah, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm going to win the league. The last place. There's a last place trophy for that league.
How did you get both?
How
would you get both in the NL League only when they're like 1-4 in open drafts?
You can only sign once you have a guy. You can only have him for 3 years.
Okay, all right, I get it.
And then he goes back in the pool. And Betts was in the this year in the pool was Ohtani, of course, as a new ad, and I had a 4th pick. Ohtani, Trey Turner, and there's everybody in the league except for me and one other person are Phillies fans. Yeah. So I knew that he was going to be gone.
Sure.
And I can't remember who and Harper, and Betts. Those four guys were the first 4 picks.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. NLA only leagues. How much of a kick to the scrotum is it when your best player gets traded to the other league?
Well,
could you imagine that? I'd be so pissed off. I mean,
it is
you lose it all.
Well, yeah, and all you can hope for is that you're in the right order in the waiver pool, so that if somebody phenomenal from the other league comes in, you got a shot to pick up. But like there's got like we get to keep 7 because it's only a 3-year span and the rosters are bigger.
Yeah.
But like 3 of the guys that I was going to keep ended up in the American League. Like,
I'd have trouble with that, but you know what? I'm sure you have fun and that's cool. So
it is fun. It's fun. It's just another league. It's another league and another way to do it. And
yeah, of course.
Where I have an advantage as guys comes in from the American League, I have more knowledge about them than anybody in the league. So doing leagues that have used both leagues gives you a little bit of a knowledge advantage over leagues that only do one, either American League only or National League only. Because as American League players come in, they don't really follow them that much.
Yeah. All right. Well, Battlefield Bob, we're gonna.
Can I leave with one question?
The Olympic torchbearer.
Because I'm gonna go hang out in the patio or somewhere, but
wherever you're told.
You're young men, just got called up to the major leagues. Maybe share with your listeners next week. You're walking to the plate. They announce your name. What's your walk-up song? And thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Bob.
And I'll look for you guys next week. I love your show.
I'll give you my walk-up song right now.
Okay.
Thanks. Walk like an Egyptian.
No.
Macarena?
Pink Floyd, one of these days.
Pink Floyd one of these days.
Yes,
Not comfortably numb? No.
Yeah, that'd be fitting when you're in
That's
a 3 for 50.
That's a different.
That'd be
sporting
fitting when you're in a 3 for 51 one of these days.
Thanks, guys. I had a great night. And
Thanks, Bob. Thanks,
enjoy your
champ.
show. You guys be well. Good talking to you.
All right, bud. Talk
Thanks,
soon.
buddy.
Good night.
Later. Battlefield Bob, the reigning Tri-State Baseball Federation champion.
The reigning Tri-State Bay. So it's interesting. Like you pick, like we know how we think, right? And you pick somebody else's brain about the why in the trades. Like a lot of times for you and me, it's like I just fucking hate this guy. So I'm
Yeah.
like this fucking. I hate looking at the stats, and I hate when he's doing good. I hate when he's doing bad. I just don't want him on my team anymore. I got to get rid of this idiot.
I cut a guy. I can't remember who it was. I cut a guy a couple of weeks ago, and Bobby asked me, "He goes, why'd you cut him?" I said, "He embarrassed me. I pumped him up on my podcast. He embarrassed me. He's got to go. Can't have that. Can't have that."
Dude, I did notice in these transactions when you mentioned Jose Altuve, you traded him in like 2018.
I can't believe I had him.
You had MVP. You had like MVP Altuve, and you traded him. I traded MVP candidate Utley to try to win.
Did I get anything for him?
I don't remember.
I didn't win.
I started. I was too deep in the rabbit hole of the history of the league today, and I started looking at some trades. And what it didn't show me is if draft picks were traded, they're not in the history.
Oh, okay.
Because I couldn't. I was hoping to remember when we added the ability that we approved trading picks.
Yep.
And I feel like it was like 15 years ago, maybe, but it doesn't in the transaction list. It doesn't show draft picks that were traded.
We've been paying draft picks longer than that.
I don't know. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah. All right. Who's hot and who's not? I will defer to you.
Yeah. So too bad Bob left for this one. Former Met can't miss prospect and Marlin and Mariners washout. Jared Kalenic, he's only 46% owned. I mean, Acuna being out, he's going to play. He was in a platoon. He's going to play every day now. They don't have a lot of choices.
Harris out too.
And Harris is out.
Even more.
So until they make this whatever gigantic trade that they make, because they're going to. They move him to lead off. So he's going to get a ton of at-bats. His first 2 games as a leadoff hitter, he homers. Last 7, 280. Couple stolen bases, couple homers, 7 RBIs. Probably a guy that should be in the lineup now. I mean, the lineup's still good, right? He's going to hit leadoff behind in front of Albies and Olsen and Riley's getting it going and Ozuna's not calming down at all. So somebody that should be, A, if you don't have him, you should think about going to get him. And then B, he should definitely be in your lineup. And then who's not? I mean, Jesus Luzardo, dude, he may be weighing the weight of being a trade candidate.
He was the guy I targeted to pick in our draft. Again, for context, you keep 5. So when we say first or second round drafts, he's really
I wanted him too.
He got picked before I could grab him.
They were I mean, the hype on him going into the year is he was top 10, 15 for Cy Young this year.
Yeah.
He had a great year. He got hurt. I get that. But like his last 3 starts in 15 innings, he only has 8 Ks and he's given up 14 runs. So like you can't cut him because he has too much talent. And you can't cut him because if he gets traded, he's going to end up on somebody really good.
Yeah.
Which is anybody at this point other than the Marlins. So, but you can't have him. You know, if he has a great start and he's on your bench, then so be it.
Yeah.
But odds are right now he's not going to.
No, something's just not right. It always looks like it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet for him. So,
yeah.
For me, I'm going to Lane Thomas.
I love this one.
Late pick for me during our draft. In the last 21 days, heading into this week, he put up an 0 for 4 tonight. Thanks, buddy. Ranked 8th in CBS and all of fantasy baseball for CBS at 21 days. 299, 5 homers, 15 runs, 13 RBIs, 5 steals. The hesitation with Lane Thomas, he got off to a lot of steals before he got hurt this year. His batting average was terrible. He's bringing it up. He was in the top 14 in CBS last year through August, and then he just took a nosedive the last 6 weeks of the year. Hopefully he keeps that up. And then the stunner that I noticed, I really didn't even notice until he got traded in our league the other day. Adolis Garcia comes into the week, big man, 131 batting average in his last 21 games, 1 homer, 3 RBIs. He'll come out of it. He's too good not to, but yeah, he's got to take a seat. He's in that range where it's like Luzardo. You got to let him figure it out while he's parked on your bench for a week or two. And if you miss some good stats, you do, but and you get him back once he starts hitting. But
he's an enigma. I love the Lane Thomas. I love that one. The Garcia one is an enigma. Maybe Seager being back in the lineup will help him.
Yeah,
but like Mitch Garver not being there is a thing with that team. I mean, Carter's on the DL. He's not really doing anything. I mean, their lineup is. They're scuffling a little bit right now.
What do you think the thing has to do with Garver? I mean, he's been a disaster.
Who's behind him?
Oh, okay.
There's nobody behind him in that lineup, so it's like, get him out. We're just going to pitch. We're going to pitch super. We're not going to give him one single pitch to hit. I mean, even though for 3 years everybody gave him stuff to hit, and he just crushed it because there's nobody behind him in a lineup that just scares us.
Yep. All right, go get them or cut them.
Back to the Nationals, man. We're back to the Nationals.
Yeah, you're anti-Net. Oh, boy, okay. I wanted to give Bobby a chance to retort on your anti-Met stuff, but we got sidetracked with our.
I'll have more of that in a minute. So Joey Meneses.
Oh, wait a second. We have breaking news, and it's really sad. Willie Mays has passed away.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 93. And you know what the ironic part about that was my boys and I were talking about baseball, and they said, "What was your favorite gift when you were growing up?" I said, "I got a baseball bat from my dad when I was 7." They said, "Whose autograph was on it?" I said, "It was Willie Mays."
That's awful.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's awful. It's the greatest player that ever lived, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's the greatest player that ever lived. It's awful. That's horrible. That is really sad news. That's really sad.
It is. Yeah, the ESPN just put it on the top of the website in the big red banners, breaking news and whatnot. So. All right, let's go back to our show, and that is sad news, but
that is sad news. So let's go. So it's kind of hard to jump into.
Back to fantasy baseball.
So we'll go back. So we'll go back to go get him and cut him. And for me, it's the Nationals. Joey Meneses, not Gaetti's favorite war comparison player. Joey Gallo's on the injured list. Not that hurts the Nationals at all. But last 7, 421, a homer, 6 ribs. 2023 was 13 homers and 89 RBIs and 154 games played. I mean, he's going to hit 270. He's going to give you a little bit of power. He's not going to steal any bases, but he's going to drive in runs. And first base ain't great, man. Speaking of which, the guy to cut, like, I know he's hurt and I know he's out for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, but if you had Anthony Rizzo on your team and you were starting him, you were not in the top 30 of your league unless you had every other unbelievable player that was helping you. I mean, he was hitting 224 with 8 homers and 28 RBIs. He spent some time on the IL. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. The Ben Rice era might have started tonight. He already got a hit.
Greg Bird not available?
His glove is not what it used to be. And I said the same thing about Kevin Kiermaier. As you get older, if your number one tool is starting to diminish, you're of no value to your team. And he's not been of any value to the Yankees. He's been of minimal value to the Yankees, aside from the clubhouse and the intangible stuff. I get all that. Fantasy-wise, just do yourself a favor. If you're a Yankee fan, take emotion out of it and just cut him. Because when he comes back, what's he going to be?
Yeah. All right. For me, let's go back to Mikestown, Boston, Massachusetts. David Hamilton ranked 10th in CBS. I'm a big fan of the last 21 days for my streaks. He's ranked 10th in CBS overall, 328 batting average, 11 steals, including 4 Sunday night, Mike, against the Yankees. Now, the problem with Hamilton is it's such a deep position that not a lot of people need shortstops because they are aplenty. The cut, one of my guys, one of my former A's, but Matt Chapman, defense doesn't help you in fantasy baseball. It's hitting 213 in the last 3 weeks. There's just better third basemen got to be out there on the waiver wire. No homers, 3 RBIs. I said at the beginning of the year, if you're going to count on him to do anything really offensively to make a difference, you're wrong, because he is a great overall player, but he's a better baseball player than he is a fantasy player, and that's
Mr. May.
Yeah.
Well, the first of those 3 weeks was on my roster, by the way. So I already beat you to your advice.
Gotcha. All right. So closing 5.
So we'll start with my favorite punching bag team of late. That half-ass redheaded stepchild organization that also plays in New York, known as the Mets.
Can I just stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
The graphics department, when they first put it together, did initially put happy endings for everyone, but that's a different podcast. So I got that corrected.
It is, but that would have got a comment from the big man in Massachusetts.
Might have.
So just when I think they can't get any lower, they trot Grimace out to throw their first pitch. Grimace might have saved the Mets season.
He's 6-0, right?
Unbelievable. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what it took for the Mets to get serious about baseball. They had to have a McDonald's freaking character throw their first pitch out. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't believe it. All right, next up, ditch the pitch clock and just put a pitch limit on pitchers. Just put a limit on them. Blanco's got a no-hitter through 7 the other night. They take him out. He was at 94 pitches. He was at 94 pitches. I mean, he's already got a no-hitter. Like, why do you not? So, like, this pitch limit thing is it makes me insane. It makes everybody that's our age insane, because we're from a day when, you know, there were pitchers that had more complete games in a season than there's been since 2010 combined. It's just ridiculous. It's like it feels like every week somebody's got a beauty going and they get pulled at 93, 95, 100 pitches in the 7th inning. And then the bullpen, like their bullpen held on for dear life last night.
So when you say add pitch limits, you're saying give them more pitches to throw, right?
No, just at 100 pitches, you got to come out of the game. Just give baseball what they want. You can't throw more than 100. Make it like Little League. You get 60 pitches a week. You get 200 pitches a week if you're a 2-start pitcher. You get 100. You get 100 max and a start, and then you got to come out no matter what. I'll love to see that conversation with Verlander. That'd be fun. Or Cole. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Right. So in one of the leagues I'm in, holds and OPS are a category, and I got to tell you, like, I'm a full believer at this point. I'm a full believer. Dane Dunning made it into our league again last week, Sean. I don't know why.
He got cut, by the way, our last show.
Why that guy is in our league, I have no idea. You know why? Because there's nobody else to pick up. There's
our last show
else.
2 weeks ago, Dane Dunning got cut at 3 a.m. after someone watched his show.
Yeah, and then Sunday he got picked up again, and he got lit up like a Christmas tree again. It's the it's for another show. Is our get off my porch stance on traditional stats stopping us from enjoying fantasy more by adding other important stats that baseball uses every day?
We've talked about this, and in the offseason, I wanted to go saves and holds, and with some nasty retorts. I just feel like the game has changed. And again, you want to evolve. You have saves as a category. Well, how many teams go by the closer by committee crap, and and all that stuff. So I would switch to saves and holds in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would have zero problem with that. But it adds an interesting wrinkle. It also adds another pool of players. It adds another pool of players that you watch when you watch box scores on a daily basis, because like in our league, nobody pays attention to those guys until all of a sudden they get 3 saves and they start paying attention to them.
Yep, correct.
So next up is like, what is going on with the Nationals? Holy, like the hard charging, pesky Nationals hovering around 500, beating good teams, bringing up all these guys that they got in all these trades for the guys they dump that are real players. They're more fun to watch than the Padres, and half their team is former Padres.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kid the other night, 13 strikeouts. I mean, it's just like they are a fun little story right now, but don't be shocked if they trade away anything that's over 28 at the trade deadline. And then the last one is we'll pick on Dave Roberts again, because in the same weekend, Yamamoto goes now on the IL with tricep tightness, I guess. That's no good. Betts is out 4 to 6 weeks with the broken hand. The bottom of the lineup's been a disaster anyway. Bueller's not been great. Miller's still a little way away. Muncy has no timetable. We're going to see if Dave Roberts is a manager or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they missed Betts last night. They put Ohtani in lead off, and he's like 3 for 4, the homer, stolen base. Freddie Freeman became the, I think, what did Nakayeti say today? Like the 13th player in the history of baseball to hit a homer and draw 5 walks in a 9-inning game. Unbelievable. But just back to this Willie Mays thing for just a moment before we close. So the Negro League tribute game at Rickwood Field is Thursday, and it's the Cardinals and the Giants.
Wow.
And they'd invited Willie Mays to that game, and he had said he couldn't make it. So what do you think the tribute's going to be like on Thursday night?
Yeah, no kidding.
For 660 homers, a catch that'll live on in infamy that he would say to this day was not, he would have said till today, was not the best catch that he ever made. A career that was shortened by time as an active military participant.
Yep.
Like a number of those guys, right? You can name some of the greatest players that ever lived that lost stat time to military service. Ted Williams, of course, would come to mind for that as well, but a number of those guys. Great ambassador for the game. I mean, we got to see him in 73 with the Mets. He was a shell of himself at that time, but arguably the greatest player in the history of Major League Baseball. And then they go into this game on Thursday night at this field that's going to be crazy interesting to watch a game from. They did amend the fences, but dead center in the day was 520 feet. And left field foul line was 421.
Wow.
There would have been one home run pulled to left field in 2023 that would have been a home run at Rickwood Field. One. So it'll be fun. It'll be a great event. I still have a cynical view on Major League Baseball's sudden attention of full inclusion of the Negro Leagues and everything. and that's been out there a lot, right? That it's like a whitewash event, but at the end of the day, maybe some fans will get to learn about people that they never heard of before, which would be great. It's a shame Buck O'Neill's not alive for this, because he would have been the ambassador for the day. But I mean, when they start rolling down the list of players that played at that field, that played in the big leagues, people's heads are they're gonna turn if they watch, and I hope they do. It's gonna be meaningful to them, and it should be. I was hoping I didn't get a Kansas City Monarchs shirt. I was hoping I was going to be here for the show, but it's not.
Oh, okay. Save it. Use it next week.
I'm the same age as Page when he pitched for the Indians, so it's.
I hate to end this show on such a bummer, but that's crappy news.
It is horrible news. It's terrible news.
Yep. All right. So we will rally it up and do it again next week.
We will. Hopefully there won't be. Hopefully there won't be another great player from our childhood that we have to mention, right. Which seems like it's happening all the time, right?
Yeah, I know it sucks. All right, my man.
All right, it's always fun.
You got it.
Thanks to Battlefield Bob for joining us tonight. Smash the like button. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Big stuff happening here at Pugsley's Pit. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get to make yet another major announcement to our loyal listener.
All right. All right, man.
The like button, win a prize. You got a chance to win our gratitude. That's what's.
Michael, take you to Fenway Park.
I will not. I will. I'll drop you off out front, and then I'll leave after I take a leak on the wall. See.